Rylan rode across the endless red sands of Zira Prime, the twin suns blazing overhead. The heat pressed down on him like a heavy hand, making his skin prick and sweat bead along his neck. He had faced harsh deserts on Earth before, but nothing compared to this planet. Here, even the wind carried the sting of fire. His boots sank slightly into the sand as he guided his hoverbike, eyes scanning the horizon for any signs of trouble. Supply runs in these regions were dangerous. Predators, sudden sandstorms, and malfunctioning equipment could turn a routine trip into a fight for survival. Ahead, a shimmer caught his eye. He slowed and squinted, realizing it was a figure struggling in the distance. As he approached, he could see her clearly, a woman with skin sun-kissed in a way humans rarely experienced. Wearing a flowing robe that clung to her in the oppressive heat, she waved weakly, stumbling over the uneven sand. Rylan's hand went to the controls of his bike, stopping just short of her. He dismounted and called out. "Are you all right?" he shouted over the whispering wind. The woman looked at him, eyes wide and desperate. "It's too hot," she gasped. "I can't. My robe. I can't move." Rylan's brow furrowed. He studied her robe. Unlike human clothes, this one had intricate designs that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. He guessed it was meant to protect her from the intense heat, but clearly something had gone wrong. "I can help," he said carefully, keeping a safe distance. "We need to get you out of that sun trap before it's too late." She nodded weakly, stepping toward him. "Please, take it off. I need to cool down." Rylan's mind raced. He had helped humans in heat emergencies before, but he knew nothing about Zirian clothing. Any wrong move could injure her or trigger a system in the robe he didn't understand. He approached slowly, hands raised to show he meant no harm. "Okay," he said. "I'll help. Just tell me what to do." Her hands trembled as she guided him, and together they managed to loosen the robe's fastening. The heavy fabric fell to the sand, revealing a lighter inner suit designed to regulate her body temperature. She gasped, relief washing over her features as she pressed a cooling device against her chest. "You're safe," Rylan said, stepping back. "But we need to find shelter. The sun is too strong out here." Before she could answer, a low rumble echoed through the desert. The ground beneath them vibrated faintly, and Rylan tensed. His eyes scanned the horizon, and he saw them, sand predators, creatures native to Zira Prime. They moved like shadows over the dunes, their heat-sensing eyes locked on Ayla. They were fast, and Rylan knew they wouldn't hesitate to attack anything that showed signs of life. "Move!" he shouted, grabbing her arm. Together they sprinted toward a nearby outpost, a derelict structure half buried in sand. The creatures were close now, the sound of their claws scraping against stone echoing eerily. Rylan's heart pounded as he ushered Ayla inside. The building was dark, the air stale and dry. He could hear the predators circling outside, their presence a constant threat. "We need to barricade the door," he said, looking around. They moved a fallen beam and some debris to block the entrance. Rylan kept his eyes on the dimly lit room, trying to anticipate the creature's next move. Ayla shivered, though not from cold. "Thank you, human," she said softly. Her voice carried a strange mixture of awe and relief. "I thought I would not survive the heat, or them." Rylan nodded. "We're not out of danger yet," he said. He could see her scanning the room, her fingers brushing over the walls as if searching for something. "What is this place?" he asked. "This is old," she explained. "Very old. My people. We avoid it, even though it hides secrets. Dangerous secrets." Rylan's curiosity spiked. He had always admired human ingenuity, but he knew there was more to survival than just cleverness. The aliens here had lived for centuries, developing ways to survive Zira Prime's harsh climate, yet even they respected the dangers. Suddenly, A loud crash shook the building. One of the sand predators had tried to force its way in. Rylan reacted instinctively, picking up a broken piece of metal and swinging it at the door. The creature hissed and recoiled, its glowing eyes reflecting in the dim light. Ayla's eyes widened in surprise at his quick thinking. Humans were fragile, yes, but when cornered, they fought with a determination few species could match. The predator retreated, circling the outpost before vanishing into the desert. Rylan exhaled, adrenaline still coursing through his veins. Ayla looked at him, a mixture of respect and admiration in her eyes. "You, humans, you are braver than I imagined," she said quietly. Rylan shrugged, trying to hide the pride swelling in his chest. "We survive," he said simply. "That's all any of us can do." The night outside grew colder, the heat of the day replaced by sharp, biting winds. They huddled together in a corner, sharing a small ration of water Rylan had brought. Despite their different worlds, there was a bond forming, built on trust and mutual reliance. As the stars appeared, strange and unfamiliar against Zyra Prime's sky, Ayla pointed to a faint glow from a nearby wall in the outpost. "Look," she whispered. That is not natural. Something is activating." Rylan's pulse quickened. He had seen enough alien technology to know that any unknown energy source could mean danger or opportunity. "We should check it out," he said, his voice low but firm. "Careful. We don't know what it is." They moved cautiously, every step measured. The glow emanated from a panel embedded in the wall, pulsating with a soft light. Ayla reached out, her fingers brushing the surface. The energy responded to her touch, spreading across the wall like a wave. Rylan watched in awe as symbols he couldn't understand illuminated the room. Suddenly, the floor beneath them vibrated again. The sand predators outside had returned, drawn by the light and the movement. Rylan realized they couldn't stay in the outpost any longer. The structure might hold secrets, but it would also trap them if they weren't careful. "We need to move," he said, glancing at Ayla. "This place isn't safe for long." She nodded, determination replacing fear in her eyes. "Together," she said. "We can survive. Together." Rylan smiled faintly. Humanity had faced deserts, storms, predators, and countless challenges. And yet, here he was, standing on an alien world, working alongside a being from a completely different species, proving once again that humans could adapt, survive, and rise to any challenge. With careful steps, they prepared to leave the outpost, using the dim light of the glowing panel to guide them. The sand predators waited, patient and hungry. But Rylan's mind was already racing, calculating, planning. There was always a way forward. That was the human way. As they slipped out into the desert night, the twin moons casting silver light over the dunes, Rylan knew this was only the beginning. The planet held mysteries, dangers, and challenges beyond anything he had imagined. And somehow, with Ayla by his side, he felt ready for whatever came next. Above them, the stars twinkled cold and distant. But humans had always reached for them, and here on Zyra Prime, they would do it again. The desert night on Zyra Prime was darker than Rylan had expected. The twin moons cast pale silver light over the dunes, making shadows stretch like long fingers across the sand. The sand predators were still out there, circling and waiting, but Rylan had learned long ago that humans could survive even the most dangerous predators with quick thinking and courage. He glanced at Ayla. Her eyes were alert, scanning every shadow, every movement. Despite the exhaustion in her posture, there was determination there, a quiet strength that mirrored his own. "We need to find better shelter," Rylan said, lowering his voice. "That outpost isn't safe. The predators will keep coming back." Ayla nodded. "I know a place. she said softly. Not far. Ancient. Hidden. Only my people remember it. She led him across the dunes, moving with surprising speed despite the treacherous terrain. The sand shifted beneath their feet, making every step a struggle, but Rylan kept pace, relying on human stamina and determination. They moved in silence, the only sounds the whispering wind and distant howls of predators. After some time, they reached a narrow canyon, the walls high and jagged. At the far end, a hidden entrance glimmered faintly in the moonlight. It was an alien doorway, carved into the rock, its surface etched with symbols that pulsed softly. Rylan instinctively reached out to touch it, and Ayla stopped him. Not yet, she whispered. It will open only if we enter together. Humans and Xerians. Rylan nodded, stepping back, waiting. They placed their hands on the symbols at the same time. The door vibrated lightly and slid open, revealing a narrow tunnel that led underground. A rush of cooler air hit them, and Rylan felt relief wash over him. The heat from the surface was unbearable, but here, below the desert, the air was breathable and strangely calm. Inside, the tunnel widened into a large chamber. The walls were lined with glowing crystals, casting soft light across intricate machinery. Ayla moved forward, touching panels and switches. Some of the symbols responded to her touch, lights flickering across the room. These are old systems, she explained. My people built them long ago. They were meant to survive the heat, the storms, even the predators. Only few know how to activate them. Rylan studied the machines, his mind racing. He had worked on advanced technology before, but nothing like this. It was alien, yet somehow familiar. Maybe we can use these systems to help the settlements, he said. Humans and Xerians, working together. A sudden rumble shook the chamber. The sand predators outside were aware of their presence and seemed to be probing, testing the walls. Rylan and Ayla exchanged glances. They were not safe yet. Rylan moved quickly, studying the panels. Some of these controls are mechanical, he said. I can try to reroute power. Maybe we can create a defensive barrier. Ayla nodded, her hands moving over other panels. Be careful. The energy is strong, more than you expect. Rylan focused, using human logic and improvisation. He combined the Xerian technology with his own knowledge of engineering, rerouting power to form a shield at the entrance. The crystals along the walls pulsed brighter, and a faint barrier shimmered in front of the doorway. When the predators tried to get in, they recoiled, their glowing eyes reflecting off the force field. Ayla stepped back, eyes wide. Humans, you are clever. Faster than my people thought. Rylan shrugged, focusing on the next problem. We're not done yet. We need to find a way to control this place and learn what it can do. Together, they explored deeper into the structure. The chamber led to a vast underground city, abandoned for centuries. Machines hummed faintly, still active. Strange conduits carried power along the walls, and the air was filled with a soft, constant energy. Ayla explained that the city had been designed to withstand extreme desert conditions, preserving life and knowledge even when the surface became uninhabitable. This place could change everything, Rylan said. If humans and Xerians work together, we could make life easier for both our people. Ayla smiled faintly. You think like a human, always looking for ways to survive and thrive. That is why I trust you. Suddenly, an alarm echoed through the tunnels. Red lights flashed. The energy field they had activated earlier had triggered a warning system. Rylan realized the structure had its own defenses, automated and precise. We need to move, he shouted. This place will protect itself, and we'll be trapped if we're not careful. They ran through winding tunnels, Ayla leading and Rylan following closely. The walls vibrated as ancient mechanisms activated around them. Doors slammed shut behind them, corridors shifted, and the floor trembled. It was a test of endurance, intelligence, and courage. Ryland's human adaptability proved invaluable. He noticed patterns in the mechanisms, predicting which doors would close next and which paths would remain open. After what felt like hours, they reached a central chamber. A massive crystal orb floated in the center, radiating energy. Ryland approached it cautiously. "This must be the main power source," he said. "If we control this, we control the defenses." Ayla nodded. "Yes, but it is dangerous. One wrong move, and we could lose everything." Ryland studied the orb, formulating a plan. He used his knowledge of energy distribution and the clues from Ayla's gestures to carefully adjust the flow. Slowly, the pulsing light stabilized, spreading evenly throughout the city. The force fields at the entrances strengthened, and the sensors quieted. The sand predators outside stopped their attacks, sensing the humans' control over the environment. Ayla turned to him, admiration shining in her eyes. "You, humans, you survive, you adapt, and you can master what my people thought impossible." Ryland smiled, feeling a surge of pride. "We don't give up easily," he said simply. The two spent the rest of the night exploring the city. Ryland learned how to operate the defense systems, while Ayla shared knowledge of Xerian culture, survival tactics, and environmental strategies. Together, they found ways to combine human ingenuity with Xerian wisdom, creating solutions that neither could have achieved alone. As dawn approached, the desert above remained harsh, but below ground the city was alive. Machines hummed softly, energy flowed, and a safe haven had been created. Ryland realized that humans were capable of more than survival. They could adapt, innovate, and even master worlds that seemed impossible to tame. Ayla stood beside him, gazing at the glowing orb. "I thought humans were fragile," she said quietly, "but now I see. You are strong, brave, capable of more than I imagined." Ryland looked at her, understanding the weight of her words. Humanity had always faced impossible odds, and yet they had endured. They had survived storms, deserts, predators, and even alien worlds. And here, on Zera Prime, their courage and ingenuity had not only saved lives, but also earned respect from a species that had once doubted them. The twin suns began to rise, painting the sky in fiery orange and red. Ryland and Ayla emerged from the tunnels, standing on a cliff overlooking the desert. The predators had retreated. The dunes were calm and the air was cooler than it had been before. "We did it," Ryland said, his voice calm but proud. "We survived the night, and we found something that can help both our people." Ayla smiled, a mixture of relief and admiration in her gaze. "Humans, you are extraordinary. You do not give up. You fight. You endure. You survive, even when the odds are against you." Ryland nodded. "That's what we do. And when we work together, there's nothing we cannot face." As they prepared to return to the settlements, Ryland knew that humanity had proven its worth once again. On a distant desert world, among alien threats and harsh conditions, humans had not only survived, they had triumphed. And together with Ayla, they would bring hope, knowledge, and cooperation to two very different species, bridging worlds with courage, ingenuity, and determination. Above them, the twin suns climbed higher, and Ryland felt a rare sense of peace. The desert was still dangerous, the predators still prowling, and the world still full of challenges. But humans had faced worse, and wherever humans went, they left a mark. A testament to resilience, intelligence, and the unyielding drive to survive and thrive. For the first time, Ryland understood fully why humans could endure anything. It was not just strength, speed, or intelligence. It was the courage to act, the ability to adapt, and the will to survive against impossible odds. On Zyra Prime, in the glowing city beneath the sand, humanity had proven itself again. And this was only the beginning.